Alright, boys and girls, today's lesson is lesson 6-7, the half circle protractor. We have been recently using the full circle protractor. The half circle is very similar, except obviously it only goes up to 180 degrees, because the full circle goes up to how many? 360 degrees. Good. Alright, so let's take a look at it. Here is your half circle protractor. As you can tell, it goes up to what it looks like is 170, but really, if you continue, this would be 180. This spot, let me change the color ink. This right here would be 180, okay, because it's the end of it. And this right here would be 0. Just like on a ruler, they don't have a 0 on a ruler. Some rulers don't have a 0 on the ruler. Here for the half circle protractor, this is your 0 line, just the same as it would be on a full circle protractor. The 0 line's here, 180 here. Obviously, if it continued all the way around, you'd have everything else all the way up to 360/0, but we don't do that because it is a half circle protractor. We don't do it for a reason. Alright, let me get rid of all this. So, today, at the end of the lesson, you should be able to say, I can use reference points to estimate, that should be estimate the measures of angles, and I can use a half circle protractor to measure and draw angles, and I can classify angles according to their measures. Alright, so today, first, you're going to need to get out page 157 and 158. But first, I want to do the top three on 157. Alright, what I want you to do is use a straight edge to draw the following angles. I don't care if you use a straight edge to do these, but I want you to draw the angles without using a protractor. We've been doing this a lot lately. Okay, so the first one is use any angle, draw in any angle that measures less than 90 degrees. Remember, when you're drawing angles, you need to tell us how it's opening with that little circle on the inside with the arrow. Because if you don't put that in there, it could be the different angle to where it goes all the way on the outside. So you need to make sure that you put that circle arrow on the inside so that it is correct. So everyone pause it and draw an angle that is less than 90 degrees. Alright, well hopefully you drew an angle that was anywhere between, let's see, anywhere between here and all the way up there. Anywhere in this whole area would be less than 90 degree angle. Okay, so the main thing is you want to draw an arrow there. Remember, this is a 90 degree angle. Less than a 90 degree angle is anywhere back up, like you're putting your arms apart. Anywhere you would close your arms back together would be less than 90 degrees. This is called an acute angle. An acute angle is less than 90 degrees. Alright, so I want you to take a look at the next one. So draw any angle that measures more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. And this would be called an obtuse angle. Okay, so take a look at this one, and I want you to try to come up with one and then unpause it. Alright, so an obtuse angle would be anything from a 90 degree. Let me write that one over. I don't like my decision there. How about a 90 degree angle all the way down to a 180 degree angle, which is actually a straight angle we talked about. So nothing up here would work, but anything down this way. So your angle should at least look like it's going like that, or anywhere further down like that, as long as it's past the 90 degrees, as long as it's past the right angle. Anything, if you move your arm apart, make a right angle, and then you continue making it go all the way down to where your arms are basically just straight across from each other, then that would be the correct answer, and that is what we call an obtuse angle. Okay, the next one is you need to draw any angle that measures more than 180, and this would be called a reflex angle. So I'm not going to give you an example of one. I want you to pause it and try to write one reflex angle. Okay, so hopefully you came up with an angle similar to this. Here's 180, right? Okay, that's a 180 degree angle. So we'll put my vertex in the middle. That's a 180 degree angle. Just like that. That's saying it opened up 180 degrees. Well, we need to go more than that. So if we go more than that, we need to make it so it starts going like this, starts angling out. And the key is to make the arrow, the circle to go around the outside. because that is showing you that it has went past 180 degrees. If by chance you do the arrow on the other side, it's not even 180. You see that? See how that arrow is? It's not even 180 degrees because it's now opened up. Remember how I told you that if you have them shut, you look where this arrow is. This arrow is telling you which one is this is the line that started the angle, and then this is how far it went and the angle ended. So that would be the wrong answer. You definitely need to make it so you draw the arrow in the correct location. This is the arrow on the outside. Make sure you are doing that. All right. So let's get done with this. You're going to work on the rest later, but I want to talk a little bit about the half circle protractor. Okay, you're going to spin this all the way around just like you do the full circle protractor. But the key here is to make angles, and when you start the angles, obviously I'm going to put my famous circle on the inside telling me that my zero line is right here. This tells me my zero line. Okay, guess I don't need to make it that thick, but this is telling me it's going like that. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to line up my, I'm going to put my half circle protractor. Here's the key here. This right here is your center point. That little hole right there is your center point. That will line up on the vertex. Okay, the vertex of the angle. And then this is your zero line. Remember, because that's where the angle started. And this is your zero line. Remember we talked about the 0, 180. It doesn't show it. But what you need to do is you need to take it. Alright, you need to take it, line up your dot on the zero line, or on the vertex. Notice I'm doing that right there. And I'm straightening it up to where the line ends up on the zero line. Okay? So right now I have the zero line here. I have my vertex on the point, the little hole in the half circle protractor, and this isn't the greatest line, but what you want to do is, because this is the zero line, remember there's numbers on the inside and numbers on the outside. Okay, because we're using the zero on the outside numbers here, you're going to want to read the outside numbers for your angle. Okay, so if you look, and you can imagine, it doesn't have to be exact, but it looks like, don't say 60, because that's an inside number. Okay, look at, if we're starting at 0, you don't go 0 to 170 to 160 to 150. You go 0, 10, 20. So you're going to look at the outside number, which is 120 degrees. So that would be a 120 degree angle. Okay, let me try another one here. Get rid of all of this. And I'll give you one more. I have to push this aside for now. Let me draw one more angle for you. I'm going to go like that. That's a pretty easy one, except I have to put my arrow in there telling me which way it's opening up. So now that I know that, first thing you should be able to tell is that this right here is your vertex. This line is your zero line. And this line is the line you're going to read your angle through. Okay, so now I'm going to move this a little bit closer. I'm going to grab my half circle protractor. Remember, I'm going to line up that dot. Watch me as I line up that dot right there. See that? I'm lining the dot right up, the little hole right up with the vertex. And then I have to spin it. Okay, make sure I line it up correctly, but I'm going to rotate it to where it is lined up in my zero line. And there I go. Notice I'm using the zero again. I'm using the zero as it is on the top. So I'm going to look all the way over and notice my line pretty much goes through about 39 degrees. Okay, now I want to show you how you would use the other line. I want you to know how you would, I want you to be able to tell how to use it if this were the zero over here on the other side. Because the zero could be right here too, because remember, the zero's right there and 360 is on the outside. So if you're using this end as your zero line, then you're going to count the numbers in the bottom row. And I'll do one of those things for you right now. Alright, let me clean this board up a little bit. And good. I'm going to put this aside for now. And I'm going to draw an angle from the other side so some of you might get a better idea. Because I know I've told you in class, when using the full circle protractor, that these arrows have to go alphabetical order. They don't have to, but it's easier to work with when they go in clockwise, not alphabetical order. And when they go clockwise, this, as you can tell, is going counterclockwise. Okay, that's a counterclockwise because remember the clocks, if it's going to the left, it's counterclockwise. So I have my vertex. This would be my 0 line. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple different ways here. This was the way earlier. Remember I said you had to line up your dot on the vertex and then line up the 0 line on the 0? Well, look it. There's nothing over here. All this is empty over here. There's nothing over there because the angle's over there. So this is where it's always good to have the other side of the full circle protractor. Or I'm sorry, half circle protractor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my protractor and I'm going to flip it around. And I'm going to line up the dot on the vertex, and then I'm lining this up on the 0 line because now I'm using this as my 0 line. Okay, that's my 0 now. So I need to look at all the numbers on the inside. Okay, so now by looking at all the numbers on the inside, knowing that this is my 0 line, my main focus is right through here, which remember I'm reading the inside numbers now because I'm using this side as my 0. The inside numbers say it's about 135-degree angle. Alright, so hopefully through this lesson you can understand, or you've understand now how to work with a half circle protractor. I want you to go back to your desk and work on 157 and 158. 158, don't be tricked out by this. You're just going to use one of these lines, or one of these dots to put another angle off of, another line off of, okay? So don't freak out that, oh my gosh, what do I do here? You're going to just choose it to pick another, to form another ray off of these, and that way you can form the angles that you need. Alright, so go back to desk and finish this up.